As photographers, we all share something in common. We want to document people, places, everyday life. And I think the best camera to do that with isn't the one with the best specs, it's the one that makes the process the most enjoyable. This is the Fujifilm X100f. It was released all the way back in 2017, so it's getting on a bit now. And I'm answering the question, should you buy one of these in 2024? Now, let's address the elephant in the room. This is not the latest version of this camera. There's the X100V. The problem is they're exceptionally hard to get and they're really expensive. So would you be better off just getting this instead? I managed to pick this one up for £450. You do have to search online a little bit for a good deal. I got this one from MPB. The first thing I noticed about this camera is obviously the styling. It looks absolutely gorgeous and it's fully customizable. I really enjoyed the fact that there's a whole range of accessories, third party and original, that you can make your camera your own. The buttons and dials are extremely tactile. I love having this aperture ring as well. It feels like a proper photographer's camera. So first things first, it still shoots great images. I've used this as my primary camera on 3 different big trips now. First I went to Taiwan, then I went to Greece, and most recently I went to Portugal. Here are some of the shots that I got along the way. Another thing that I really enjoy about this camera is the size. Honestly, I think it's kind of an underrated feature. It's hard to truly grasp how small this is because there are many camera bodies that have an APS-C sensor that are probably the same size, but none of them include a lens. The fact that this is so compact is really quite astounding. Now, part of what enables this camera to be so small along with the lens is the fact that it has a leaf shutter mechanism. But this is something I also really like because it's completely silent and you can't hear anything at all, which is perfect for street photography. The rangefinder capabilities are really unique at this price point and they help you get the right composition in any situation. The eye sensor is really good in terms of switching between viewfinder and the LCD at the back. And honestly, you're just going to have a lot of fun and learn a lot about photography just by using this camera every single day. It makes manual mode so much easier to use. You can customize it so it looks exactly how you want it to. And overall, if this was just my only camera, I'd actually be pretty happy as long as I wasn't shooting sports or anything that moves fast, like kids. Okay, but it's not all fun and games. There are some drawbacks of this camera, and some serious ones at that could make you reconsider. The first thing is the autofocus. This is drastically improved on the X100V, but obviously you'll pay the price for that. Personally for me, I find the autofocus acceptable. Mostly shooting stationary subjects. When I'm shooting something like portraits, it can be a little bit difficult. Next up, we need to talk about the metering on this camera. It's actually one of the worst cameras I've ever used for getting the right exposure. It's a good job it has lots of manual buttons and dials, otherwise I would constantly be either overexposed or underexposed. I feel like this is actually a real issue and I've talked to lots of X100f users who have similar problems, so that's definitely something to be mindful of. Next up is the elephant in the room, it's the price. This is an expensive camera. Even a used copy, almost 8 years now after its release, this cost me about £450. Now there's obviously other options out there that are more cost effective. But if you're looking for something with this compact form factor, with rangefinder capabilities, those manual dials, the JPEG simulations, the APS-C sensor, the leaf shutter, this is really in a class of its own. You're not going to be able to find anything else like this on the market for this kind of price. Now I'm not afraid to admit, I've actually had 2 copies of this. And then I actually sold it because I couldn't justify that much money being tied up in a camera that I didn't find myself using that often. But as soon as I got rid of it, I almost started to regret it immediately. There's something about this camera that is really made for photographers and I enjoy that a lot. So the question kind of becomes, who's this camera actually made for? In my mind, there's probably 2 types of people who should buy this camera. One is someone like me, who's more of a photography enthusiast. I already have other cameras. I have a Canon R5 that I'm shooting on right now. I can do any kind of professional work on that, but for enjoyment and just taking on holiday, this is perfect. It's really just my everyday carry. I take it everywhere with me. I've probably taken more pictures on this year than any other camera that I own, which is actually a little bit embarrassing for me considering how many cameras I do own and how much money I've spent on them. But the other type of person is actually a beginner. I really think this is a good beginner's camera for someone who really wants to understand the art of photography and exposure. So in 2024, I actually think this is a really good purchase. I would definitely buy it again, and I might need to if mine breaks anytime soon. But honestly, there's just something about this that I love so much. It's characterful, and I would definitely buy it again. So let me know in the comments, is the X100f a camera that you'd pick up in 2024? Or is there a better alternative that I'm missing? See you in the next one.